The first part of Henry VI. Actus primus, scona prima. Dead March. Enter the funeral of King Henry V, attended on by the Duke of Bedford, Regent of France, the Duke of Gloucester, Protector, the Duke of Exeter, Warwick, the Bishop of Winchester, and the Duke of Somerset. Bedford, hung by Howens with black yield day to night. Comets importing change of times and states. Brandish your crystal tresses in the sky, and with them scourge the bad rulting stars. That hawk consented vnto Henry's death. King Henry V, too famous to live long. England near lost a king of so much worth. Glast, England near had a king vntil his time. Virtue he had, deserving to command. His brandished sword did blind men with his beams. His arms spread wider than a dragon's wings. His sparkling eyes, replete with wrathful fire, more dazzled and drow back his enemies than midday sun, fierce bent against their faces. What should I say? His deeds exceed all speech. He near lift his hand, but conquered. We mourn in black, why mourn we not in blood? Henry is dead, and newer shall rue you. Pan a wooden coffin we attend, and death's dishonourable victory we with our stately presence glorify, like captives bound to a triumphant car. What, shall we curse the planets of mishap that plotted thus our glory's overthrow? Or shall we think the subtle-witted French, conjurers and sorcerers, that afraid of him, by magic verses whore contrived his end? Winch, he was a king, blessed of the King of Kings. Vnto the French, the dreadful judgment day. So dreadful will not be, as was his sight. The battles of the Lord of Hosts he fought. The church's prayers made him so prosperous. Glast the church, where is it? Had not churchmen prayed, his thread of life had not so soon decayed. None do you like but an effeminate prince, whom like a schoolboy you may raw. Winch, Gloucester, whate'er we like thou art protector, and lookest to command the prince and realmy. Thy wife is proud, she holdeth thee in awe, more than God or religious churchmen may. Glast, name not religion, for thou loust the flesh, and near throughout the year to church thou goest, except it be to pray against thy foes. Bed, cease these ires, and rest your minds in peace. Let's to the altar, heralds wait on versus. Instead of gold, we'll offer our arms, since arms oil not now that Henry's dead. Posterity await for wretched years, when at their mother's moistened eyes babes shall suck. Our isle be made a nourish of salt tears, and none but women left to wail the dead. Henry V, thy ghost I innuocate. Prosper this realmy, keep it from seawil broils. Combat with the dewest planets in the Howens. A far more glorious star thy soul will make than Iulius C. Ersar or bright. Enter a messenger. Mess, my honourable lords, health to you all. Sad tidings bring I to you out of France, of loss, of slaughter and discomfiture. Guyenne, Champagne, Reims, Orleans, Paris, Geysers, Poictiers are all quite lost. Bedf, what say'st thou, man, before dead Henry's course? Speak softly, or the loss of those great towns will make him burst his lead, and rise from death. Glast, is Paris lost, is Rhone yielded If Henry were recalled to life again, these news would cause him once more yield the ghost. How were they lost, what treachery was vest? Mess, no treachery but want of men and money. Amongst the soldiers this is muttered, that here you maintain all factions, and whilst a field should be dispatched and fought, you are disputing of your generals. One would hold lingering wires with little cost, Another would fly swift but wanteth wings. A third thinks without expense at all. By guileful fair words peace may be obtained. Awake, awake, English nobility! Let not sloth dim your honours new begot. Cropped are the flowered luces in your arms. Of England's coat one half is cut away. Were our tears wanting to this funeral? These tidings would call forth her flowing tides. Me they concern, regent I am of France. Giu me my steeled coat, I'll fight for France. Away with these disgraceful wailing robes. Wounds will I lend the French instead of eyes, to weep their intermissio miseries. Enter to them another messenger. Lords, view these letters full of bad mischance. France is ruled from the English quite, except some petty towns of no import. The Dauphin Charles is crowned king in Reims. The bastard of Orleans with him is eined. Reynold, Duke of Anjou, doth take his part. The Duke of Alençon flieth to his side. Enter. The Dolphin crowned king, all fly to him. Oh, whither shall we fly from this reproach? Gloucester, we will not fly but to our enemies' throats. Bedford, if thou be slacky, I'll fight it out. Gloucester, why doubt'st thou of my forwardness? An army whore I mustered in my thoughts, wherewith already France is overrun. Enter another messenger. My gracious lords, to add to your laments, wherewith you now bedew King Henry's hearse, I must inform you of a dismal fight betwixt the stout Lord Talbot and the French. Wherein Talbot overcame is so. 3 Oh no, wherein Lord Talbot was overthrown. The circumstance I'll tell you more at large. The 10th of August last, this dreadful lord, returning from the siege of Orleans, hoing full scarce 6,000 in his troop, by 23,000 of the French, was round encompassed and set upon. No leisure had he to enrank his men. He wanted pikes to set before his archers, instead whereof sharp stakes plucked out of hedges. They pitched in the ground confusedly, to keep the horsemen off from breaking in. More than 3 hours the fight continued, where valiant Talbot, about humane thought, enacted wonders with his sword and lance. Hundreds he sent to hell, and none durst stand him. Here, there, and Uri where enragged he slew. The French exclaimed the duel was in arms. All the whole army stood aghast on him, his soldiers spying his daunted spirit. A Talbot, cried out Amen, and rushed into the bowels of the battle. Here had the conquest fully been sealed VP, if Sir Ion Falstaff had not played the coward, he being in the forward placked behind, with purpose to renew and follow them. Cowardly fled, not hoing struck one stroke. Hence grew the general rack and massacre. Enclosed were they with their enemies. A base Wallen, to win the Dauphin's grace, thrust Talbot with a spear into the back, whom all France with their chief assembled strength durst not presume to look once in the face. Is Talbot slain then, I will slay myself, for leering idly here in pomp and ease, whilst such a worthy leader wanting eyed. Vnto his dastard foemen is betraymes. Oh no, he leus but is took prisoner, and Lord Scales with him, and Lord Hungerford, most of the rest slaughtered or took likewise. His ransom there is none but I shall pay. I'll hale the Dolphin headlong from his throne. His crown shall be the ransom of my friend. 4 of their lords I'll change for one of ours. Farewell my masters, to my task will I. Bonfires in France forthwith I am to make, to keep our great Saint George's feast withal. 10,000 soldiers with me I will take, whose bloody deeds shall make all Europe quake. 3 So you had need, for Orleans is besieged. the English army is grown weak and faint. The Earl of Salisbury croweth supply, and hardly keeps his men from mutiny, since they so few watch such a multitude. Remember, lords, your oaths to Henry sworn, either to quell the dolphin vt turley, or bring him in obedience to your yoke. Bedf, I do remember it, and here take my low, to go about my preparation. Exit Bedford. Gloucester, I'll to the Tower with all the haste I can, to view artillery and munition, and then I will proclaim young Henry king. Exit Gloucester. To Eltham will I, where the young king is, being ordained his special governor, and for his safety there I'll best duise. Enter. Winch, each hath his place and function to attend. I am left out, for me nothing remains. But long I will not be out of office. The king from Eltham I intend to send, and sit at chiefest stern of public weal. Enter. Sound of flourish. Enter Charles Alanson and Riegner, marching with drum and soldiers. Charles mars his true mooing, Ewan as in the Hohens. So in the earth to this day is not known. Late did he shine vipon the English side. Now we are victors, vipon versus he smiles. What towns of any moment but we haw? At pleasure here we lie near Orleans. Otherwhiles the famished English like pale ghosts faintly besiege versus 1 hour in a moneth. Allen, they want their porridge and their fat bull beus. Either they must be dighted like mules, and haw their provender tied to their mouths, or piteous they will look like drowned mice. Riegner, let's race the siege, why liu we idly here? Talbot is taken, whom we want to fear. Remaineth none but mad-brained Salisbury, and he may well in fretting spend his gall. Nor men nor money hath he to make war. Charles, sound alarum, we will rush on them. Now for the honour of the forlorn French. Him I forge you my death that killeth me, when he sees me go back 1 foot or fly. Exeunt. Here alarum, they are beaten back by the English with great loss. Enter Charles, Alanson and Riegner. Charles, who ewer saw the like, what men horai? Dogges, cowards, dastards, I would near haw fled, but that they left me midst my enemies. Riegner, Salisbury is a desperate homicide. He fighteth as one weary of his life. The other lords like Leon wanting food, do rush vipon versus as their hungry prey. Alanson, Froissart, a countryman of ours, records England all Oliewers and Roland's breed. During the time Edward III did reigny. More truly now may this be verified. For none but Samsons and Goliasses it sendeth forth to skirmish, 1 to 10. Lean roband rascals who would e'er suppose they had such courage and audacity. Charles, let's low this town, for they are hare-brained slaws, and hunger will enforce them to be more eager. Of old I know them, rather with their teeths. The walls they'll tear down, then forsake the siege. Riegner, I think by some odd gimmers or Dewis. Their arms are set like clerks, still to strike on. Else ne'er could they hold out so as they do. By my consent, we'll Ewan let them alone. Alanson, be it so. Enter the bastard of Orleans. Bastard, where's the Prince Dolphin? I haw news. For him, Dolph, bastard of Orleans, thrice welcome to these. Bast, methinks your looks are sad, your cheer appalled. Hath the late overthrow wrought this offence? Be not dismayed, for succour is at hand. A holy maid hither with me I bring, which by a vision sent to her from Hohen, ordained is to race this tedious siege, and drew you the English forth the bounds of France. The spirit of deep prophecy she hath, exceeding the 9 Sibyls of old Rome. What's past and what's to come she can descry. Speak, shall I call her in, believe you my words? For they are certain and infallible. Dolph, go call her in, but first to try her skill. Reignere, stand thou as dolphin in my place. Question her proudly, let thy looks be stern. By this means shall we sound what skill she hath. Enter Ion Pusel. Reignere, fair maid, is't thou wilt do these wondrous feats? Pusel, Reignere, is't thou that thinkest to beguile me? Where is the dolphin? Come, come from behind. I know thee well, though never seen before. Be not amazed, there's nothing hid from me. In private will I talk with thee apart. Stand back, you lords, and gee you versus low a while. Reignere, she takes upon her brawly at first dash. Pusel, dolphin, I am by birth a shepherd's daughter. My wit trained in any kind of art. Hoen and Our Lady gracious hath it pleased to shine on my contemptible estate. Lo, whilst I waited on my tender lambs, and to sun's parching heat displayed my cheeks, God's mother deigned to appear to me, and in a vision full of majesty, willed me to low my base vocation, and free my country from calamity. Her eyed she promised and assured success. In complete glory she royaled herself. And whereas I was black and swart before, with those clear rays which she infused on me, that beauty am I blessed with which you may see. Ask me what question thou canst possible, and I will answer premeditated. My courage try by combat if thou dost, and thou shalt find that I exceed my sex. Resolute on this thou shalt be fortunate, if thou receive me for thy warlike mate. Dolph, thou hast astonished me with thy high terms. Only this proof I'll of thy valour make. In single combat thou shalt buckle with me, and if thou vanquishest, thy words are true. Otherwise I renounce all confidence. Pusel, I am prepared, here is my keen-edged sword, decked with fine flowered luces on each side, the which at Touraine in S. Catherine's churchyard, out of a great deal of old iron I chose forth. Dolph, then come a God's name, I fear no woman. Pusel, and while I lee you I'll ne'er fly from a man. Here they fight, and Ion de Pusel hour comes. Dolph, stay, stay thy hands, thou art an Amazon, and fightest with the sword of Deborah. Pusel, Christ's mother helps me, else I were too weak. Dolph, who e'er helps thee, 'tis thou that must help me. Impatiently I burn with thy desire. My heart and hands thou hast at once subdued. Excellent Pusel, if thy name be so, let me thy servant, and not sour rainy be. 'Tis the French dolphin sooth to thee thus. Pusel, I must not yield to any rights of law, for my profession's sacred from a bow. When I ha chased all thy foes from hence, then will I think upon a recompense. Dolph, meantime look gracious on thy prostrate thrall. Reignere, my lord methinks is very long in talk. Allen's, doubtless he shrews this woman to her smark, else ne'er could he so long protract his speech. Reignere, shall we disturb him since he keeps no means? Allen, he may mean more than we poor men do know. These women are shrewd tempters with their tongues. Reignere, my lord, where are you? What dews you on? Shall we gee you a Orleans or no? Pusel, why no, I say, distrustful recreants. Fight till the last gasp, I'll be your guard. Dolph, what she says I'll confirm, we'll fight it out. Pusel, assigned am I to be the English scourge. This night the siege assuredly I'll race. Expect St. Martin's summer, Halcyon's days, since I ha entered into these wars. Glory is like a circle in the water, which ne'er ceaseth to enlarge itself, till by broad spreading it disperse to naught. With Henry's death the English circle ends. Dispersed are the glories it included. Now am I like that proud insulting ship, which see Ersar and his fortune bear at once. Dolph was Mahomet inspired with a Tao. Thou with an eagle art inspired then. Helen, the mother of great Constantine, nor yet S. Philip's daughters were like thee. Bright star of Venus, foul me down on the earth. How may I reverently worship thee enough? Alanson, low off delays and let versus race thee. Siege. Reignere, woman, do what thou canst to soar our honours. Dree you them from Orleans and be immortalized. Dolph, presently we'll try, come let's away about it. No prophet will I trust if she prow false. Exeunt. Enter Gloucester with his sorrowing men. Gloucester, I'm come to survey the tower this day. Since Henry's death I fear there is connivance. Where be these warders that they wait not here? Open the gates, 'tis Gloucester that calls. One warder, who's there that knocks so imperiously? Gloucester, one man, it is the noble Duke of Gloucester. Two, warder, whoe'er he be you may not be let in. One man, villains, answer you so the Lord Protector. One, warder, the Lord protect him so we answer him. We do no otherwise than we are willed. Gloucester, who willed you, or whose will stands but mine? There's none protector of the realmy but I. Break VP the gates, I'll be your warranties. Shall I be floated thus by dunghill grooms? Gloucester's men rush at the tower gates, and Woodwile the lieutenant speaks within. Woodwile, what noise is this, what traitors haw? We hear. Gloucester, lieutenant, is it you whose voice I hear? Open the gates, here's Gloucester that would enter. Woodwile, ha patience, noble Duke, I may not open. The Cardinal of Winchester forbids. From him I whore express commandment, that thou nor none of thine shall be let in. Gloucester, faint-hearted Woodwile, prizest him for me. Arrogant Winchester, that haughty prelate, whom Henry our late sour rainy near could brook. Thou art no friend to God or to the king. Open the gates, or I'll shut thee out shortly. Sorrowing men, open the gates, VNTO the Lord Protector. Or we'll burst them open, if that you come not quickly. Enter to the Protector at the tower gates, Winchester and his men. In tawny coats. Winchester, how now ambitious fair, what means this? Gloucester, peeled priest, dost thou command me to be shut out? Winch, I do, thou most usurping proditor, and not protector of the king or realmy. Gloucester, stand back, thou manifest conspirator. Thou that contributes to murder our dead lord. Thou that givest whores indulgences to sin. I'll canoes thee in thy broad cardinal's hat, if thou proceed in this thy insolence. Winch, nay, stand thou back, I will not budge a foot. This be Damascus, be thou cursed Cain, to slay thy brother Abel if thou wilt. Gloucester, I will not slay thee, but I'll dree you thee back. Thy scarlet robes as a child's bearing cloth. I'll VSE to carry thee out of this place. Winch, do what thou darst, I beard thee to thy face. Gloucester, what am I darred and bearded to my face? Draw men for all this privileged place. Blue coats to tawny coats, priest, beware your beard. I mean to tug it and to cuff you soundly. Viender my feet I stamp thy cardinal's hat. In spite of pope or dignities of church. Here by the cheeks I'll drag thee VP and down. Winch, Gloucester, thou wilt answer this before they. Pope. Gloucester, Winchester goose, I cry, a rope, a rope. Now beat them hence, why do you let them stay? Thee I'll chase hence, thou wolf in sheep's array. Out tawny coats, out scarlet hypocrite. Here Gloucester's men beat out the Cardinal's men, and enter in the hurly-burly the Mayor of London and his officers. Mayor, fie lords, that you being supreme magistrates, thus contumeliously should break the peace. Gloucester, peace mayor, thou know'st little of my wrongs. Here's Beaufort, that regards nor God nor king, hath here distrained the Tower to his VSC. Winch, here's Gloucester a foe to citizens, one that still motions war, and newer peace, or recharging your free purses with large fines, that seeks to overthrow religion, because he is protector of the realmy, and would haul armour here out of the Tower, to crown himself king and suppress the prince. Gloucester, I will not answer thee with words but blows. Here they skirmish again. Mayor, naught rests for me in this tumultuous strife, but to make open proclamation. Come officer, as loud as ear thou canst cry, all manner of men, assembled here in arms this day against God's peace and the king's, we charge and command you in his highness' name, to repair to your several dwelling places, and not to wear, handle or VSC any sword, weapon or dagger henceforward, upon pain of death. Gloucester, Cardinal, I'll be no breaker of the law, but we shall meet, and break our minds at large. Winch, Gloucester, we'll meet to thy cost, be sure. Thy heart blood I will haul for this day's work. Mayor, I'll call for clubs if you will not away. This Cardinal's more haughty than the duel. Gloucester, Mayor, farewell, thou dost but what thou mayst he. Winch, abominable Gloucester, guard thy head, for I intend to hoe it ere long. Exeunt. Mayor, see the coast cleared, and then we will depart. Good God, these nobles should such stomachs bear. I myself fight not once in 40 year. Exeunt. Enter the master gunner of Orleans and his boy. Gunner, sirrah, thou know'st how Orleans is besieged, and how the English whore the suburbs won. Boy, father, I know, and oft whore shot at them. How ere Vienne fortunate I missed my aim. Gunner, but now thou shalt not, be thou rolled by me. Chief master gunner am I of this town. Something I must do to procure me grace. The prince's espials whore informed me how the English, in the suburbs close entrenched, went through a secret grate of iron bars in yonder tower to outpeer the city, and thence discover how with most advantage they may vex these with shot or with assault. To intercept this inconvenience, a piece of ordnance gainst it I whole placked, and you in these 3 days whore I watched. If I could see them, now do thou watch, for I can stay no longer. If thou spiest any, run and bring me word, and thou shalt find me at the Gowernor's. Enter. Boy, father, I warrant you take you no care. I'll newer trouble you if I may spy them. Enter. Enter Salisbury and Talbot on the turrets with others. Salisb, Talbot, my life, my eye, again returned. How wert thou handled, being prisoner? Or by what means gotst thou to be released? Discourse, I prithee, on this turret's top. Talbot, the Earl of Bedford had a prisoner, called the braw Lord Ponton de Santrail. For him was I exchanged and ransomed, but with a baser man of arms by far. Once in contempt they would hold bartered me, which I disdaining, scorned and crawed death. Rather than I would be so pilled esteemed. In fine, redeemed I was as I desired. But oh, the treacherous Falstaff wounds my heart, whom with my bare fists I would execute, if I now had him brought into my power. Salisb, yet tell'st thou not how thou wert entertained. Tal, with scoffs and scorns and contumelious taunts, in open marketplace product they me, to be a public spectacle to all. Here, said they, is the terror of the French, the scarecrow that affrights our children so, Then broke I from the officers that led me, and with my nails digged stones out of the ground, to hurl at the beholders of my shame. My grisly countenance made others fly. None durst come near, for fear of sudden death. In iron walls they deemed me not secure. So great fear of my name mongst them were spread, that they supposed I could rend bars of steel, and spurn in pieces posts of adamant. Wherefore a guard of chosen shot I had, that walked about me every minute while. And if I did but stir out of my bed, ready they were to shoot me to the heart. Enter the boy with a linstock. Salisp, I gree you to hear what torments you endured. But we will be ruined sufficiently. Now it is supper time in Orleans. Here through this grate I count each one, and view the Frenchmen how they fortify. Let these look in, the sight will much delight thee. Sir Thomas Gargraw and Sir William Glansdale, let me haw your express opinions. Where is best place to make our battery next? Gargraw, I think at the north gate, for there stands Lords. Glansdale, and I here at the bulwark of the bridge. Talb, for aught I see this city must be famished, or with light skirmishes enfeebled. Here they shot, and Salisbury falls down. Salisp, O Lord, have mercy on versus wretched sinners. Gargraw, O Lord, have mercy on me, waffle man. Talb, what chance is this that suddenly hath crossed versus? Speak, Salisbury, at least if thou canst speak. How farsty thou, mirror of all martial men! One of thy eyes in thy cheek's side struck off. Accursed tower, accursed fatal hand, that hath contrived this waffle tragedy. In 13 battles Salisbury o'ercame. Henry the Fifth he first trained to the wars, whilst any trump did sound, or drum struck VP. His sword did near low striking in the field. Yet liest thou, Salisbury, though thy speech doth fail. One eye thou hast to look to Hohen for grace. The sun with one eye vieweth all the world. Hohen, be thou gracious to none alieu. If Salisbury wants mercy at thy hands, bear hence his body, I will help to bury it. Sir Thomas Gargraw, hast thou any life? Speak VNTO Talbot, nay, look VP to him. Salisbury, cheer thy spirit with this comfort. Thou shalt not die whiles. He beckons with his hand and smiles on me, as who should say, when I am dead and gone, remember to orange me on the French. Plantagenet I will, and like thee, play on the lute, beholding the towns burn. Wretched shall France be onely in my name. Hear an alarum, and it thunders and lightens. What stirrer is this, what tumults in the Hohens? Whence cometh this alarum and the noise? Enter a messenger. Mess, my lord, the French ha gathered head. The dolphin with one eye on depusal eyened. A holy prophetess, new risen VP, is come with a great power to race the siege. Here Salisbury lifteth himself VP and groans. Talb, hear how dying Salisbury doth groan. It irks his heart he cannot be ruined. Frenchman, I'll be a Salisbury to you. Puzzle or puzzle, dolphin or dogfish. Your hearts I'll stamp out with my horse's heels, and make a quagmire of your mingled brains. Canoe me Salisbury into his tent, and then we'll try what these dastard Frenchmen dare. Alarum exeunt. Here an alarum again, and Talbot pursueth the dolphin, and dreweth him. Then enter Ion de Puzzle, drewing Englishmen before her, then enter Talbot. Talb, where is my strength, my valour, and my force? Our English troops retire, I cannot stay them. A woman clad in armour chaseth them. Enter Puzzle. Here she comes, I'll whore a boat with thee. Duel or duels damn, I'll conneer thee. Blood will I draw on thee, thou art a witch. And straightway jew thy soul to him thou serest. Puzzle, come, 'tis onely I that must disgrace thee. Here they fight. Talb, Hoens, can you suffer hell so to preluil? My breast I'll burst with straining of my courage, and from my shoulders crack my arms asunder. But I will chastise this high-minded strumpet. They fight again. Puzzle, Talbot, farewell, thy hour is not yet come. I must go victual Orleans forthwith. A short alarum, then enter the town with soldiers. Ori, take me if thou canst, I scorn thy strength. Go, go, cheer VP thy hungry starred men. Help Salisbury to make his testament. This day is ours, as many more shall be. Enter. Talb, my thoughts are whirled like a potter's wheel. I know not where I am nor what I do. A witch by fear, not force like Hannibal, drews back our troops and conquers as she lists. So bees with smoke, and dows with noisome stench, are from their hues and houses driven away. They called V's for our fierceness English doggers. Now like to whelps we crying run away. A short alarum. Hot countrymen, either renew the fight, or tear the Leon out of England's coat. Renounce your soil, jew sheep in Leon's stead. Sheep run not half so treacherous from the wolf, or horse or oxen from the leopard, as you fly from your oft subdued slaws. Alarum, hear another skirmish. It will not be, retire into your trenches. You all consented VNTO Salisbury's death, for none would strike a stroke in his revenge. Puzzle is entered into Orleans, in spite of V's or aught that we could do. Oh, would I were to die with Salisbury! The shame hereof will make me hide my head. Exit Talbot. Alarum, retreat, flourish. Enter on the walls, Puzzle, Dolphin, Reigner, Alanson, and soldiers. Puzzle, adduence our warring colours on the walls. Rescued is Orleans from the English. Thus Ione de Puzzle hath performed her word. Dolph, divinest creature, Astria's daughter, how shall I honour thee for this success? Thy promises are like Adonis' garden, that one day bloomed and fruitful were the next. France, triumph in thy glorious prophetess. Recowered is the town of Orleans. More blessed hap did near befall our state. Reigner, why ring not out the bells aloud throughout the town? Dolphin, command the citizens make bonfires, and feast and banquet in the open streets, to celebrate the eye that God hath given V's. Allens, all France will be replete with mirth and eye, when they shall hear how we whore-played the men. Dolph, 'tis Ione, not we, by whom the day is won, for which I will dew my crown with her, and all the priests and friars in my realmy shall in procession sing her Endel's praise. A statelier Pyramis to her I'll rear, then Rhodophis or Memphis ewer was, in memory of her when she is dead. Her ashes in an vrne more precious than the ritualed coffer of Darius, transported shall be at high festiules, before the kings and queens of France. No longer on Saint Denis will we cry, but Ione de Puzzle shall be France's saint. Come in and let Versus banquet royally, after this golden day of victory. Flourish exeunt. Actus secundus, scena prima. Enter a sergeant of a band with 2 sentinels. Sirs, take your places and be vigilant. If any noise or soldier you pursue near to the walls by some apparent scene, let Versus whore knowledge at the court of guard. Sent sergeant you shall, thus our poor Seriders, when others sleep upon their quiet beds, constrained to watch in darkness, rain and cold. Enter Talbot, Bedford and Burgundy with scaling ladders, there. Drums. Beating a dead march. Tal, Lord Regent and redoubted Burgundy, by whose approach the regions of Artois, Wallen and Picardy are friends to Versus. This happy night the Frenchmen are secure, hoeing all day caroused and banqueted. Embrace we then this opportunity, as fitting best to quittance their deceit, contraried by art and baleful sorcery. Bed, coward of France, how much he wrongs his fame, despairing of his own arms' fortitude, to iron with witches and the help of hell. Burr, traitors whore newer other company. But what's that puzel whom they term so pure? Tal, a maid, they say. Bed, a maid, and be so martial. Burr, pray God she prow not masculine ere long. If Vienne durneath the standard of the French, she carry armour as she hath begun. Tal, well let them practice and canoeus with spirits. God is our fortress in whose conquering name. Let Versus resolute to scale their flinty bulwarks. Bed, ascend broad Talbot, we will follow thee. Tal, not altogether, better far I guess, that we do make our entrance sure all ways, that if it chance the one of these do fail, the other yet may rise against their force. Bed, agreed, I'll to yond corner. Burr, and I to this. Tal, and here will Talbot mount or make his graw. Now Salisbury, for thee and for the right of English Henry shall this night appear. How much in duty I am bound to both. Sent arm, the enemy doth make assault. Cry S. George A. Talbot. The French leap o'er the walls in their shirts, enter Suerol. Ways. Bastard, Alanson, Regnier half ready and half Vienne ready. Alan, how now my lords, what all Vienne ready so? Bast Vienne ready, I am glad we scapt so well. Rag, 'twas time I trow to wake and low our beds. Hearing alarums at our chamber doors. Alan, of all exploits since first I followed arms, ne'er heard I of a warlike enterprise, more venturous or desperate than this. Bast, I think this Talbot be a fiend of hell. Rag, if not of hell the Hohen's sure for him. Alans, here cometh Charles, I marvel how he sped. Enter Charles and Ione. Bast, tut, holy Ione was his defence you guard. Charles, is this thy cunning, thou deceitful dame? Didst thou at first, to flatter Versus withal, make Versus partakers of a little gain, that now our loss might be 10 times so much? Ione, wherefore is Charles impatient with his friend? At all times will you whore my power alike? Sleeping or waking, must I still prevail? Or will you blame and lay the fault on me? Imprudent soldiers, had your watch been good, this sudden mischief newer could whore foulny. Charles, Duke of Alanson, this was your default, that being captain of the watch tonight, did look no better to that weighty charge. Alans, had all your quarters been as safely kept as that whereof I had the government, we had not been thus shamefully surprised. Bast, mine was secure. Rag, and so was mine, my lord. Charles, and for myself most part of all this night, within her quarter and mine own precinct, I was employed in passing to and fro, about reliewing of the sentinels. Then how or which way should they first break in? Ione, question my lords no further of the case. How or which way, 'tis sure they found some place, but weakly guarded where the breach was made. And now there rests no other shift but this, to gather our soldiers scattered and dispersed, and lay new platforms to endamage them. Exeunt. Alarum, enter a soldier, crying a Talbot, they fly, lowing their clothes behind. Sold, I'll be so bold to take what they ha' left. The cry of Talbot serues me for a sword, for I ha' loaden me with many spoils. Vi sing no other weapon but his name. Enter Talbot, Bedford, Burgundy. Bedf, the day begins to break and night is fled, whose pitchy mantle hour veiled the earth. Here sound retreat and cease our hot pursuit. Retreat. Talb, bring forth the body of old Salisbury, and here aduance it in the marketplace, the middle censure of this cursed town. Now hore I paid my vow vnto his soul, for yewery drop of blood was drawn from him. There hath at least few Frenchmen died tonight, and that hereafter ages may behold what ruin happened in revenge of him. Within their chiefest temple I'll erect a tomb wherein his core shall be interred. Vipon the which, that yewery one may read, shall be engrowed the Saki of Orleans, the treacherous manner of his mournful death, and what a terror he had been to France. But lords, in all our bloody massacre, I muse we met not with the dolphin's grace, his new-come champion, virtuous Ion of Acre, nor any of his false confederates. Bedf, 'tis thought Lord Talbot, when the fight began, rose on the sudden from their drowsy beds. They did amongst the troops of armed men leap arre the walls for refuge in the field. Berg, myself, as far as I could well discern, for smoke and dusky vapours of the night, am sure I scarred the dolphin and his trull, when arm in arm they both came swiftly running, like to a pair of lowing turtle dows, that could not leave asunder day or night. After that things are set in order here, we'll follow them with all the power we ha. Enter a messenger. Mess, all hail, my lords, which of this princely train call ye the warlike Talbot for his acts, so much applauded through the realmy of France? Talb, here is the Talbot who would speak with him. Mess, the virtuous lady, Countess of Aurigny, with modesty admiring thy renown, by me entreats, great lord, thou wouldst he vouchsafe to visit her poor castle where she lies, that she may boast she hath beheld the man whose glory fills the world with loud report. Berg, is it you and so? Nay, then I see our wars will turn vnto a peaceful comic sport, when ladies craw to be encountered with. You may not, my lord, despise her gentle suit. Talb, near trust me then, for when a world of men could not prevail with all their oratory, yet hath a woman's kindness hour rolled, and therefore tell her I return great thanks, and in submission will attend on her. Will not your honours bear me company? Bedf, no, truly, 'tis more than manners will, and I ha heard it said, Vien bidden guests are often welcomest when they are gone. Talb, well then, alone, since there's no remedy, I mean to prow this lady's courtesy. Come hither, captain, you pursue my mind. Whispers, Capt, I do, my lord, and mean accordingly. Exeunt. Enter Countess. Count, porter, remember what I go in charge, and when you ha done so, bring the keys to me. Port, madame, I will. Enter. Count, the plot is laid if all things fall out right. I shall as famous be by this exploit as Scythian Tomarus by Cyrus' death. Great is the rumour of this dreadful night, and his achievements of no less account. Fain would mine eyes be witness with mine ears to you their censure of these rare reports. Enter messenger and Talbot. Mess, madame, according as your ladyship desired. By message crowd, so is Lord Talbot come. Count, and he is welcome. What, is this the man? Mess, madame, it is. Count, is this the scourge of France? Is this the Talbot so much feared abroad, that with his name the mothers still their babes? I see report is fabulous and false. I thought I should have seen some Hercules, a second Hector for his grim aspect, and large proportion of his strong knit limbs. Alas, this is a child, a silly dwarf. It cannot be this weak and writhled shrimp should strike such terror to his enemies. Madame, I have been bold to trouble you, but since your ladyship is not at leisure, I'll sort some other time to visit you. Count, what means he now? Go ask him whither he goes. Mess, stay my Lord Talbot for my Lady Craw's, to know the cause of your abrupt departure. Mary, for that she's in a wrong belief. I go to certify her Talbot's here. Enter porter with keys. Count, if thou be he, then art thou prisoner. Prisoner to whom? Count, to me, bloodthirsty lord. And for that cause I trained thee to my house. Long time thy shadow hath been thrall to me, for in my gallery thy picture hangs. But now the substance shall endure the like, and I will chain these legs and arms of thine, that hast by tyranny these many years wasted our country, slain our citizens, and sent our sons and husbands captivate. Count, laughest thou, wretch? Thy mirth shall turn to moan. I laugh to see your ladyship so fond, to think that you whore aught but Talbot's shadow, whereon to practice your surety. Count, why art not thou the man? I am indeed. Count, then whore I substance too. No, I am but shadow of myself. You are deceived, my substance is not here. For what you see is but the smallest part, and least proportion of humanity. I tell you, madame, with the whole frame here,